we all have a little of that in our hearts. That's why we're bound to material existence. So the first thing the chanting does is it cleanses that away. All the bad qualities. We know ourselves better than anyone else, right? Everyone can tell their story. I'm too greedy, I'm too lusty, I'm too angry, I'm jealous of this person, I hate. These are qualities that keep us bound to material existence. Sometimes we like to point it out in others. But we're pointing three fingers at ourselves. I'm my worst enemy, sometimes they say. So don't have to worry about that, even if you don't know how bad you are. This chanting cleanses the heart where these things reside. It's not that we can, cleanse the body with soap, rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men's in a tub. It's British. To cleanse the inner self, the Atman, the soul, who's covered. The soul's covered by these material qualities. Krishna says it very nicely in Bhagavad Gita, as fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, whereas the embryo is covered by the womb. To various degrees, the Atman, the soul, is covered after his journey through material existence. So we're all works in progress. Some are covered more, some are covered less, but cleansing is needed. So instead of, swallowing a bar of soap and hoping for the best, my father used to challenge me. He said, if you speak that bad word again, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap. I'll never do it again, Daddy. Well, that doesn't work. So how to cleanse the heart? These are obstacles on the path of self-realization. It's an obstacle race. To get to the goal, you have to remove the obstacles, all these material desires, and awaken your spiritual desires. So this mantra is very handy, because by sound we become cleansed inside. That's the purpose of mantra, to cleanse the heart of all inauspiciousness. The Vedic scripture says by sound we become conditioned, and by sound we become or reincarnation, the repetition of birth and death. This is the bigger picture. Sound is, my mother, more powerful than is a spiritual sound. A spiritual sound, a mantra, can do much more than that. It can cleanse the heart. Now, isn't it that after a sadhu, a yogi, a rishi, takes 3 baths a day? Morning, noon, and evening, especially if they live on the bank of this river, Ganges, because she's very purifying. It's a holy river. So after a bath, you feel refreshed. And you'll see, if you spend the evening with us, when you walk away tonight, you're going to feel refreshed. Spiritual life should be something tangible. It shouldn't just be philosophy and high words. There should be some tangible result. You'll experience by chanting that you become refreshed, because it's said in Sanskrit, Cheto Darpanam Marjanam. These things are cleansed from the heart. So why not, after an evening of chanting, why is my heart not completely free? Because Brahmanda Brahmati Konya Bhagavan Ji, we've been in this world for millions and millions of lives. We've been there, we've done that. We've been a king, a queen, a pauper, a poor person. We've been black and white and yellow, man and woman, and intelligent and a fool, and we lived on higher planets, we lived on lower planets. We've been there and done that. So there's a lot of residue there. So that's why, really, if you visit the yogis in the mountains, I've gone as high as Badrinath, Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath, high as you can go in the Himalayas without needing oxygen. That's where the real yogis are, the real rishis. They're living there. And what do they do all day? These are intelligent, just figured out, I'm a stranger in a strange land. The real purpose of life is, beyond education and career. In the 60s, we gotta get out of this place if it's the last thing we ever do. It was a boy and girl singing, but it's something else. So That should be the foremost thing in our mind. Responsibility in this world, but knowing the higher goal is to become freed from another birth with its new set of problems, and another birth with its new set of problems, and it's like that. It's a world of duality. Sada Hari. One should chant as often as possible, and that's why we do Kirtan here, but in the morning, when we wake up after our bath, the first bath, the bath of soap and water, we do the inner cleansing with meditation beads. This is called japa mala. I'm sure many of you are familiar, but it's a very intricate part of the bhakti process, because beyond cleansing is bhakti, or love and devotion. That's the state of the enlightened soul. He's totally enchanted with and totally in love with the divine. Here we have Radha and Krishna pictured, a painting. This is the goal of the bhakti yoga, to reconnect with our source, the divine personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna and his eternal consort, Sri Radha, and re-enter into a loving relationship with them. That's yoga. Yoga means to reconnect. Just like the word religion comes from the verb religio, which also means to reconnect. You just choose the path you're most comfortable with. So this process is very nice because we chant a lot. I chant 3 hours every morning. Some people say, 3 hours? I mean, there's other important things to do. True. This is the most important. Because by the time we leave these bodies, we want to be fully enlightened so that we can go back home to the spiritual world. So, like this, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. So you're being cleansed all the time. Any yogic process, of course, cleanses you. But this is particularly powerful because of the sound. Sound is, it's the most easily available thing. You're on the bus, you can't do your yogic asana in the back seat of the bus, or in your classroom, or in the shower. This you can do anywhere. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So the cleansing, and then after the cleansing, then comes the spiritual enlightenment. Enlightenment's not a cheap process. It's like if you want to plant a rose bush in a garden, it's all full of weeds. What do you do first? You pull out the weeds, and then you plant the rose bush. If you plant a rose bush in a garden of weeds, it may choke the plant. So it's actually, yoga is something very scientific and nicely explained by the acharyas, or spiritual masters. That's why anyone who's practicing yoga has to have an instructor, but an instructor who's actually enlightened. Tadvidi paripatena paripashana sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam jnaninash tattvadarshanaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service to him. The self-realized souls can give you knowledge because they've seen the truth. Any field of knowledge, if you try to, like when I first got a guitar, I was 13, I just started, my mother and father went crazy. I was trying to imitate, the groups of that age. So my father employed a teacher who would come every Tuesday and Wednesday, and he taught me how to play the guitar. So it's the same with spiritual life. Our interest awakens, but we need a teacher. So our teacher, you can see here on your left, his name is Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, affectionately call him Srila Prabhupada. And as you were hearing earlier, he brought this chanting to the West, and the East, and the North, and the South. Because this chanting is not just for people of India. Atato Brahma Jignasya. Now that you've come to the human form of life, whether you're Chinese, American, Brazilian, whatever, now is the opportunity, the golden opportunity for self-realization. So he kindly brought this chanting to the West, and it's spreading like wildfire all over the world, because people are getting more and more frustrated with things that are happening in this world, and there doesn't seem to be any solution. As soon as one problem solved, another one pops up, like a wildfire. Wildfire, they go and they try to put it out, and then they have to run 10 miles away. It started over here, and now it's over there. So that's the material world, it's on fire. So we have to go home. So when you go home, wherever your home is, please take this mantra with you. We don't charge anything. Why should spiritual life have a price on it? It's our obligation. It's our duty. We shouldn't pay. Someone shouldn't have to pay. That's why this is a free festival. We stress this point. Why should someone have to pay to become self-realized? This mantra is free, and I guarantee you, your deeper spiritual nature will peek through, and when it does, you'll become really happy, and when you're happy, you dance. That's part of this technique. You don't have to go to school to learn how to dance to this mantra. It's the soul's dancing. It's spontaneous. It's natural. So please, at a certain point, get up and dance. Then there'll be really good kirtan leaders. I'm just an amateur, but there's really good kirtan leaders coming a little bit later. And then there's the feast. We cook for 400 people a night, like maybe 8 or 10 delicious preparations, all vegetarian, some of them vegan if you're vegan, but all divine food, because we offer that food back to the divine, back to the Supreme, back to Krishna, as acknowledging that, where did it come from? My mom used to tell me when I got a present, son, say thank you. No, if you don't say thank you, you're not going to get any more. All right, thank you. So in India, the food that people eat, the yogis, they don't just, purchase it and then cook it and then eat it. First, they're thinking that all these rice, vegetables, and milk products and sweets, etc., that has come about by the grace of the divine. So they first cook it and offer it to the divine, and then it's described as prasadam. It's infused with bhakti. It's infused with devotion. It's infused with spiritual energy. They're just vegetables. Well, if you take a cold iron rod and you put it in a hot fire, it's hot like fire. So that which is engaged in spiritual action from the